the next step, because it's like a game of poker. It's like two people playing. The cards aren't great now. Theresa May's shown her cards, and now it's up to her adversary about how they're going to play the game.
So Ranjeet, the outcome of the UK election surprised both the public and also the markets. Now, the Labour, although they had a surge in seats, led to the Conservatives not winning a parliamentary majority. Now, this led to the pound falling 2% against the dollar. So what does this mean for future sterling movements?
Okay, so I think the first thing to say, Jessica, is what a terrible decision by Theresa May to even call a snap election in April. What a terrible campaign that she ran, and what a terrible outcome. So that's the first thing out of the way. In terms of sterling fell by 2%. Obviously, Theresa May, the whole purpose of the election was to have a strong mandate to go to Europe with a good negotiating position. That's completely gone now. She now needs to team up with another firm, another parliamentary party as some sort of coalition. And of course, that creates uncertainty. So what's happened, of course, the pound's fallen against the dollar, went from 129 down to 127.15. It also fell against the euro. And of course, the impact on the equity markets, which is really, that I'm quite a big fan of, because that's my area of expertise as well as FX, was that the FTSE 100 rallied, but the FTSE 250, which is the domestic-based equity market, fell. So that's the first time I've seen that, where one market goes up simultaneously with another market. In terms of where the pound goes from now, it really depends on how the European Union now takes this. Now, I was looking at a few tweets this morning, and a lot of people are baying for blood. They weren't very happy about Theresa May. They weren't very happy about her tough stance about, no deal is a good deal. So it depends on where this goes now. So one thing you probably will find is that we'll probably now head towards a softer Brexit for sure. And what that will mean, of course, is that the pound will slow down. But of course, the uncertainty is still out there. So it's really up for grabs. And of course, it also depends on whether or not the Conservatives now team up with possibly the DUP, which is the other party potentially that they could work with. But the DUP is also very pro-unionist and also very pro-Brexit. So it's interesting how things are going to play out. And of course, in a very unlikely event, Theresa May be forced out, and of course Boris Johnson might come in, and then we're all in trouble.
Now, as this does mean more uncertainty for UK market traders, now we've already know that Theresa May will not resign as Prime Minister. So looking ahead for sterling traders, what is the next focus they should be looking out for?
Okay, so it really depends, as I say, on, I guess, the next step, because it's like a game of poker. It's like two people playing. The cards aren't great now. Theresa May's shown her cards, and now it's up to her adversary about how they're going to play the game. In terms of sterling, I think the market obviously wants certainty. What we have now is huge amounts of uncertainty. So the way I see it, I can't see sterling recovering anytime soon. I think sterling remains fairly under pressure. And I think it opens up the doors now for really possibly having a pretty disastrous few weeks in terms of scrambling together. Theresa May, there might be another re-election, could even be another referendum. I don't think that's going to happen, but depending on who comes into power, they may even call another referendum. So it's all up for grabs. And of course, that all creates uncertainty. So for the time being, I see sterling remaining under a lot of pressure. And like I say, unless we can get some sort of consistency and some sort of stability. I mean, ironically, of course, as her slogan throughout the whole campaign was, stable and secure, and sort of all the buzzwords that you're using. Everything that she was expecting and wanted to portray as a leader of a country has completely gone. And of course, everything that she was trying to avoid, she wanted to go in with Donald Tusk with a strong mandate, say, look, I'm a strong leader, I've got the majority of the country behind me, I'm going to go into these Brexit negotiations as I wish, and if you don't play ball, I'm going to pull everything off the table. All of that's now gone. And so that's going to be really, really bad for the markets. And of course, I guess we just have to wait and see.
So what does this also mean for the euro? Because we have mentioned that we've seen some people that are speaking out on Twitter on behalf of representatives in Brussels that are saying that Brexit negotiations really now are in a difficult stage. No one really knows what's going to happen, and that has been the cause of such a currency volatility. So is this good news for the euro for the time being?
I think it's good news for the euro, yeah. I think obviously, not only did sterling fall against the dollar, but it also fell against the euro. So I think the euro strengthened on the back of this. I mean, this is what's happened last night and this morning has only helped strengthen the case for Europe and the European Union in many cases. And, you know, whilst there's going to be a lot of wrangling, I mean, not only, of course, does she have problems from having a hung parliament, also she's going to have a lot of infighting within her own party now, because nobody really wanted her to call this election. I mean, she made a really bad call, because she made a call on the basis of polls which we know aren't really accurate. So she assumed that she would get a strong majority, and she's basically now, a lot of her parliamentary sort of candidates have lost their positions now. So those that have remained are very upset because she made a bad decision. So she'll not only have problems from other parties, you know, but she'll have problems from within her own party, and now she's also got problems from in Europe. So I guess the only place she's going to find refuge is probably her husband. I mean, that's her family and friends. I mean, I feel really bad for her, but I think she made a bad decision. I mean, I just read some tweets this morning. I think one of the EU ministers said, well, she was never any Margaret Thatcher, and I think that summarises maybe what people are thinking of her right now.
Well, Ranjeet, thank you so much for joining us on the line at such an exciting time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's all from us here in the Geneva studios, but we want to hear how you found this interview, so please do like and comment on dukascopy.tv.